So we've got big stories for you this afternoon. We've got the Electoral Commission Director of Electoral Services in the studio. We're also looking at who is in the best position to partner Dr. Mamadou Bawumia in the NPP race to, hold on to power. But before we delve into these big stories for today, let's bring you an update on some major stories making rounds this afternoon. Now, government is blaming the depreciation of the Ghanaian currency, the cedi, on the recent payment of 49 billion cedis to contractors, $400 million to independent power producers, and the general speculation around the currency. The cedi today is trading at over 15 Ghana cedis to the United States dollar and 19 cedis to the British pound sterling. The development is creating uneasiness in the business community, with some currency analysts urging government to adopt the dollar as an interim measure. But Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam says data available suggests the cedi is not doing badly at all.
Inflation is declining. Headline inflation declined by 31 percentage points from 54.1% at the end of 2022 to 23.2% at the end of December 2023. This was before inflation inched up slightly to 25.8% in March 2024, due largely to base effect, but we have seen it trending downward again. The downward trend is expected to continue over the medium-term horizon, with inflation returning to the target band of 8 plus or minus 2% by 2025. But for recent pressures we are seeing on the exchange rate movement, ladies and gentlemen, the exchange rate has been largely stabilized over some time, with the depreciation of the cedi against the US dollar halving from 54.2% at the end of November 2022 to 27.8% at the end of December 2023. The cedi stability has continued into 2024 with a cumulative depreciation of 14.2% as of May 20th, 2024, compared to 20.7% recorded in the same period in 2023. And therefore, people may see the cedi depreciating fast recently. If you compare the depreciation year to date, from January to date, the cedi has depreciated by about 14.2%. Same time last year, it depreciated by 20.7%. So on that, comparative basis, we are safe to conclude that the cedi is still strong, very strong. We're also expecting the disbursement of 300 million United States dollars under the World Bank Development Policy Operation 2, possibly in the third quarter of this year, and disbursement of $200 million to Ghana Exim Bank and Ghana Commercial Bank, GCB, by EBIT, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, later in the year. And, of course, again, what is known to us, the expected 2024-2025 cocoa syndication proceeds in the fourth quarter of this year. They will all crystallize and come together to support the build-up of the reserves in order to strengthen the cedi as well as support the budget in the implementation. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in all, we're expecting total disbursements of $2.32 billion US dollars before the end of the year, to add to the significant foreign exchange reserves already built up by the Bank of Ghana. And on this basis, I wish to assure the Ghanaian people that there is enough foreign exchange supply in the market. Hence, there is no need to rush to buy forex. There is enough foreign exchange on the market, and we will continue to ensure that the supply is sustained, if not even increased.
So how is the cedi doing today? We'll fact check that for you with the assurance coming from the Finance Minister. But on the ongoing discussion for a deal with external creditors, the Finance Minister announced that government has received an official memorandum from the Official Creditor Committee.
The fund assessed Ghana's performance under the second review as very strong, as most of the quantitative performance criteria and the indicative targets adjudged by the fund staff were met. In addition, Ghana satisfied all 5 but 1 structural benchmark due by end December 2023 and end March 2024. The assessment also shows great strides in our social protection interventions to mitigate the cost of adjustment on the poor and the vulnerable. We are now seeing signs of macro stability and economic recovery. And I'm confident to say that the recovery has been strong. It has been strong, and we will pursue all the policies that are necessary to sustain the gains we have made.
So other stories making rounds this afternoon before we bring you the EC Director of Electoral Services and of course take a look at who partners Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. The Ghana National Petroleum Tankers Drivers Union, they've given stakeholders up to July to address their concerns or they will resume their strike. The union suspended their strike after presenting a new framework over their working conditions. Members of the union at the news conference indicated that despite an existing agreed policy framework aimed at improving their salaries and other working conditions, which has been pending since November 2023, the National Petroleum Authority and other stakeholders have refused to implement the policy. The following report has more.
On Tuesday, the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union embarked on an indefinite strike to drum home their concerns, amongst them demanding better conditions of service. Now, the strike was expected to last until their concerns are addressed. It's Friday, and the indication we are getting is that the strike has been called off after meeting with stakeholders.
Tanker drivers in the country put their tools down based on some challenges that we are facing. So fortunately, authorities concerned came to our aid yesterday, arranged a meeting to address the issue. So yesterday we went to the meeting. God so being good to Ghana and tanker drivers as a whole, our challenges have been addressed. What we are looking for, honestly, they have adopted the framework for us. So we are happy to see the framework working. And hopefully by July, tanker drivers will start receiving their money through the framework.
Drivers of both commercial and private vehicles welcomed the Tanker Drivers Union's decision to call off their strike, saying if the strike had persisted for long, it could have led to a shortage of fuel and a subsequent increment.
I'm very glad they called off the strike, because if it had persisted, it would have hiked the price, artificial prices from everywhere. So we are very, very happy they called off the strike.
The fuel keep on increasing day by day, so I'm not sure it will affect, but maybe somehow. Yes, everybody have a concern about his or her salary. If they will push it and their life will be better, that's fine.
Search here be higher because at the quantum say by and say some kwesa no fuel na wo omunchen wa no e be ba be short. A short one so yensu enya fuel emfa ye adwuma bio. Enti no omu ba ye
A filling station manager re-echoed the customers' sentiments, saying Tanker Drivers Union's demands for better working conditions need urgent attention.
It's a welcome news. We are praying that it will go through so that everything becomes normal.
And then, since that time till now, have you experienced any challenges with regards to fuel shortage?
No, before they started the strike, we had enough stock. So maybe today, when we don't get about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we shall run out. It's not possible that we can do that. It's not possible. And nobody is ready to hold the fuel. So that one is a false news. The authorities in charge should address the concerns of the drivers.
Drivers will be looking forward to their concerns being addressed before the July deadline, or they will resume their strike. For Joy News, Kenneth Jesse.
So at least we have until July to fix this issue. But let's also talk about Dumso before we talk about electoral matters. And more as suspicious, organizers of the protest vow to defy any future ploy by the police to derail the vigil. Organizers of the plan Dumso Must Stop vigil are threatening defiance if the police administration attempt to yet again thwart their protest. It follows the withdrawal of an application that seeks to block the vigil from being held at the Revolutionary Square, which is classified a national security zone. Now, today in court, the police withdrew the initial application, which was rendered mute after organizers put forward new modalities for the protest. Latif Idrisu has the rest of the story.
The withdrawal of the application here at the court complex. Organizers of the Dumso Must Stop vigil say they are anxiously waiting on the police to have an invitation for them to sit down and agree on the new modalities for the vigil to come off on the newly proposed date.
We'll be waiting for an invitation from the police, inviting us to discuss the modalities for the Dumso Must Stop vigil. Because the police themselves, they are also bearing the brunt of this Dumso. The last time we were at the regional police command, there was Dumso there. It was this lantern that we used. They were groping their hands in the dark, looking for their switch. You understand? To switch off the air conditioner there. It was this lantern they used. So I placed the lantern on the desk. It was this lantern that guests used to even log in. So that tells you where the Dumso has taken us to. You understand? I mean the Accra Regional Police Command, those who have dragged us to this place today, those who are falling over themselves to always prove to Ghanaians that they have become the strong arm of this government. They themselves, they are bearing the brunt and the pinch of this Dumso thing. Yet, they are stubbornly and obstinately going ahead to prove that they are the strong arm of this government.
So you are waiting for the police to extend an invitation.
Yes.
What if the invitation never comes?
If the invitation never comes, we go ahead to do our thing. We have notified them already. That is what the Public Order Act says. So if the police doesn't give us or invite us for a meeting, then it means that they have breached or they are breaching the Public Order Act, which enjoins them to invite us for a meeting to discuss the modalities for the vigil. So if they don't invite us, we will go ahead and hold our event successfully.
Of course, this is your election headquarters, and this is the pulse here on Joy News with me, Elton Brobe. And this afternoon, you have a question for the Electoral Commission. You can leave that question on our social media handles, on Facebook, on myjoyonline.com, and of course on X. And because in the studio is the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Shebo Kweku. Also, another matter we are dealing with this afternoon is the question of who partners Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. And I'm just looking at the post we have on X. Who do you think will be the best running mate for Dr. Mamadou Bawumia in the 2024 elections? And already almost 3,000 they voted, and the results is quite interesting. We'll have that for you. But in the last 2 hours, the Electoral Commission has announced a 2-day extension to the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. The exercise was billed to end on Sunday, but it will now end on Tuesday. In the studio today, we have the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Shebo Kweku, to help us assess the exercise so far and to look ahead to the 5 days ahead as we seek to answer that crucial question. Would every willing eligible voter be captured? Before the conversation, here is a statement issued by the Commission a few hours ago. All right, so we'll bring you that statement as you have the discussion. Dr. Kweku, it's a pleasure to have you here in the studio. So 2 days, why? 2 more days.
Statement I just made that the registration was supposed to end on Sunday, rather on Monday.
Rather on Monday.
Yes, that's 27th.
Right.
And the 2 days will take us to Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes.
So why the 2 days extension?
Yeah. So from the look, we all agree that the first 2 days we had a lot of challenges. So more or less we lost the 2 days. So we are compensating the applicants with the 2 days that we lost partially. So that's why we are giving them additional 2 days.
So this challenge, was it a nationwide challenge or restricted to certain areas?
The connectivity issues and inability to have the access code was national in character.
So you are taking it back to the original positioning from the start of the exercise? If you're addressing the challenges, because you moved around.
I'm not getting that.
No, I'm saying that. So you are starting from. You say you want to address the challenges. And
what I mean is that
yes.
we had challenges during the first 2 days.
Right.
So we want to give back the 2 days that we had the challenges because we were not able to operate fully. Right. So that's what I meant by.
But overall, how do you assess the exercise?
I would say that it has been very, very successful. And if you look at the figures, we started with approximately 16 to 17,000 the first day. The second day was about 19,000. Then the third day, 48,000. We peaked at 58,000 something. Then for the last 3 days, 20 something, means that we've almost captured all those who wanted to register. But still, we know that we lost 2 days, so let's give them back to the applicants.
So as you speak, we don't have provisional figures?
Oh, we have. As at 3 days ago.
As of 3 days ago.
But today's one, yesterday.
It's ongoing.
Right now, yes.
So he's trying to get us the provisional figures as of 3 days ago regarding the limited voter registration exercise, and then we can have the conversation. But if you have any question, please leave it on our Facebook or X page, and then I will share that question with Dr. Sriwekuku.
Don't worry. Whether Mr. Doctor is the same.
Right.
So as at today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
Wednesday.
As at Wednesday.
We have registered 603,006.
Then you are nearing your target.
We are left with about 20,000.
And you think that in the 2 days extension will be able to cover all?
I believe if we add yesterday, so I will be able to hit that.
I'm wondering what went into, assuming the number that we were looking for.
Okay. Now, we estimated based on the fact that statistics from the Statistical Service projected that for the last 4 years, 450,000 people turn 18 on a yearly basis. So once we registered in 2020, we have 4 years now. So 450,000 times 4 will give you 1.8. Last year we registered 910,000.
Right.
So if you take that from the 1.8, we will level 890. Then we projected that. Then let's see if we can register 70% of that figure. So that gave us the
620,000. Yeah, and currently we are around 600,000.
Yes.
All right. So, and then the last time you spoke on the Super Morning Show, you indicated that after this exercise, there may be another opportunity for those because people are turning 18 every day.
Yes. So that one, the commission will look at the situations on the ground and take a decision. So if it is not yes or no, at the appropriate time, commission will come out with a decision.
But what challenge did you face in uploading figures on the social media platform that you had to entirely change your infograph team?
Oh, I find it difficult to talk about it because it casts a slur on us. But there have been 2 instances. With respect to our statistics, there are no issues. But the team that was working on the infographics, the first one, if you take there was a region that registered 3,000 for the second day and 9,000 on the third day. So when they were uploading, they repeated the 9,000 for the first and second day.
Right.
So instead of the second day being 19,000, the difference of the 6 showed, so it became 25,000. So that's the first mistake that was made. Then the second one, it was the graph. They had the graph right. So you could see that it's a histogram. So you see that the graph for Upper East was smaller as compared to Greater
Accra region.
But the figures for Greater Accra was repeated for the Upper East. So you see that the histogram was short like this, but the figure is the same as Greater Accra.
Right.
So that's what the problem. So it's cut and paste issue, and I'm not here to defend. That's why.
But you've taken a very hard line to say that we've taken the team off. Is it because of lack of due diligence they didn't employ in the work that they did?
What I would say is that one mistake came, it was reviewed on the team. Another one is repeated, so we have to do the review. So we are hoping that those mistakes will not come.
The NDC says you acted because they drew your attention to it.
we detected it and we have corrected it. So the most important thing that it was corrected.
The issue about offline registration, is it still ongoing?
Wherever there is an issue of problem with connectivity, they will do that. So, and most of the difficult to access areas, as the name implies, network becomes a challenge. So once there are no network issues, we resort to that.
You have expressed your own concerns with the offline registration and the challenges it may have for the register. So when all this is said and done, how do you weed out the illegal names on the roll so that we have a very credible register?
The weeding out is not an issue. Because unlike the offline, where immediately you put your hand on, so the online, unlike the online, immediately you put your hand on, the system is linked to the database. So your pictures will pop up and show that you have registered. But the offline is not connected. So you will successfully register. But when you finish and you upload the data, that's where the system will do the duplication by matching one person's data with 17 point something million on it, and then it come out that you have done multiple registration. And once that is done, the system itself quarantines you. It will flag you and quarantine you, meaning that you cannot vote. So what happens then, we will build a suspected multiple list. Then we have a team that has been created. We've got an education team. They will go to the data system and pull out all the names of those the system has flagged. The system has flagged. Then there's another team which is made up of staff of the Electoral Commission, some members of the civil society organizations, and representatives of the political parties. They call them adjudication committee. These are all captured in the law. So they would then sit one by one and look at it, whether genuinely they are multiple registration. Then when those people are confirmed, then we'll put them on the multiple list, which will be exhibited during the exhibition, so that if your name is on the multiple list, it will show you the number of times you have done multiple registration, with the different clothing that you were wearing, your fingerprints will be there, the dates that you registered will be there, the polling stations where you registered will also be there. So you yourself will see that. Even if you don't believe that you did the registration.
Of course, everything will come out.
Exactly. But in that case, you have the right during the exhibition to go and object to your name being on the multiple list. You will appear before a district court for you to explain. If the judge agrees with you, he said that we should delete A, B, C from there, allow this. If that has not happened, then your name is on the multiple list.
So under the circumstances, they are not in breach of any law. Because I'm looking at the fact that if you've done multiple registration, that is against the law, and you can be punished for that. So under the circumstances,
it will interest you to know that some people will go to jail
after this exercise.
Yes.
You've already identified people.
I'm 100% sure.
You've already identified such people.
Oh, but like I was saying, the system will flag them.
No, because you said that the offline presents some challenge. Innocently,
it's not innocent. Because when you are there, you'll be asked whether, for example, let him give you the story of what happened in Kufuria, where a man was claiming that the son registered at the age of 14. Now that he was 18, he went and...
He registered as a minor.
Yes. So, you see that you are laughing. You see, at times, you should not be in a hurry to condemn people. Because this thing, I believe, might have died naturally. You went there, you are castigating people, and now you have got the case before public view, so we need to investigate. So the investigation has proven. I have all the forms and the rest here. So the gentleman went, and he gave a date of being born in 2002.
Right.
So mean that 2020 he was 18. Agreed. But you were saying he was 14. Now the guy went again. Now he's now 18. So the system has captured him
as 18.
Then it flagged that he has already done multiple registration. Moreover, when he was registering, he was asked. He said he has never registered before. So now we have the details of those who guaranteed for him during the second and the first one. So we are going after all those people.
So those who've done multiple registration, they should have themselves in readiness to face the law.
No doubt about that.
And the EC will not sweep this under the carpet.
Oh, you have been doing that. This is not the first time. You have been doing it. Every registration, people go to jail.
And there's also the issue of those who've done the guarantor system. I mean, the law says you can't do more than 10.
Yes.
And I'm told that some have...
But no, the previous one, but this time it has been configured in such a way that you can't do more than 10.
You can't do more than 10.
But the previous one, too, some people who did, and we are also working on that one, too.
That's a busy time ahead of the EC in court.
Yes. Normally we give it to the police. And with criminal issues, we only give them the facts and information, and they would do the prosecution.
Are these the only crimes that are likely to emerge after this whole exercise? Or there are still things that people
the
are doing?
The registration of minors, the registration of foreigners, they are all part of the cases that we are working on. And most of these people, those who are minors and those who are foreigners, they go through the back door of using a guarantee system. That's why the commission was seriously
insisting on the use of the Ghana card.
Yes.
And then we made it clear that in future elections that should be the only means by which we can identify people properly.
To me, I believe that we have gone too far to be relying on this way of identifying us. Why do you have to come and identify me? Right? And anyway, I don't want to.
Dr. Sibokweku is...
I was going to say that.
Yes, please go on.
There are people who have the Ghana card, but they will not use the Ghana card.
Why so?
Because the person is probably 17 years. And if you use the Ghana card, you can't register. So they'll go and use the... That's why we're having a lot of people who want to use who are using the guarantor system. It is seriously being abused.
This week at your news conference addressed by the Director of Operations,
Deputy Chair of Operations,
Deputy Chair of Operations, Mr. Tete, clarify this for me. So the number of people you are investigating, is it 7,000? Yes. Yes. So you have a question.
But what we should understand is that every figure we are churning out are provisional figures. Because what I gave you was as of 3 days ago.
Yes.
Yesterday's one will come and change it. Right?
Right.
Today's one will come and change yesterday's one. So it goes like that. So when we talk of 7,000, it is not a final product because you are
reviewing.
Adding. So because I heard it somewhere that the figure the person said he was having is different from what you are saying. It depends on the date. Because if you are saying as at the 15th day and you bring as of 16th day, the figures may change.
Of course. So how many are we looking at now, provisionally?
Yes, I will give you.
And of course, Dr. Sibokweku is my guest.
Ask more questions. Ask questions so that I'll be.
Yes, so you can drop your question on our social media handles, X and of course Facebook, and I'll share with Dr. Sibokweku on the limited voter registration exercise. So this week we were told by Mr. Samuel Tete that there are certain number of names you have identified. We had 7,000, and what you are doing in terms of investigation to identify them and take them through the necessary laws, if you like.
Come again?
Yes. So I was talking about the news conference that you heard this week, where this number of people you've identified to have undertaken, is it multiple registrations?
So I have the figures here now. Do I go by?
Yes, please go on.
Yeah, Greater Accra, we have 1,521.
Multiple registrants.
No, this is challenge.
Challenge.
That the people have challenged that they are not qualified.
Right.
And there are three main reasons. Either they are minors, suspect to be minors, foreigners, or they don't reside at where they are. So Greater Accra is 1,521. Northeast 22. Upper East 223. Northern 750. Bono 256. Bono is 395. Voter 2,122. Upper West 346. Eastern 758. Central 664. Ahafo 299. Ashanti 1,063. Western North 185. Oti 336. Savannah 583. Western 207. Total now is 9,740.
Challenge.
Yes,
challenge.
7,000.
And Greater Accra, Volta, and Ashanti, they are leading in this area.
They are in the thousands.
So what is going to happen to these people?
Yeah, so what happens is that there's what we call the District Registration Review Committee. They are those who are going to sit on this case. They have already started. And this committee is made up of Electoral Commission, the District Police Commander or his rep, District Director of Education or his rep, one traditional ruler, and members of the political parties. So they will consult the District Registration Review Committee, and they will meet the challenger and the challenged, and each of them will present his or her case, and they will give their judgment. If they say you qualify, the commission has 14 days to implement that. If they say you are not qualified, the commission has 14 days also to do that. But the issue is that once you are challenged, you are not given the ID card.
Yes.
It's only when you have been cleared.
Your case is pending until then.
Exactly.
So these people cannot assume that they've gone through the system.
Not at all.
Until this challenge is removed.
And once they are disqualified, their names will be put on the exceptions list.
But what is this issue about people trying to use every means to register people who are not qualified?
This question, I don't think I'm the right person to answer.
I mean, your people are at the...
It's the abuse of the system.
At the registration center.
It's the abuse of the system.
There's a case of busing of people to registration centers. There's a case where people are challenging other people because they don't reside in the area. And the law is clear on who qualifies to register in a particular area. And you have people who are not yet 18, but being forced to go and register. So the case that somebody who was 14 some years back now says that, no, I wasn't 14, now I'm 18, so take me through the right process.
Yeah, so sitting here, I always put the blame at the doorsteps of the political parties. Because you hear them fighting over them. They themselves will go to the police stations and they'll be fighting that you are bringing minors, you are bringing foreigners and the rest. So if the political parties stop, all these issues will also stop.
So your registration officers cannot prevent anybody from going through the process?
No, the law is clear.
Even when he thinks that this person is not up to?
No, you see, my responsibility is to confront you and tell you that, Elton, you are not a Ghanaian. If you insist, I have no choice but to register you, then I will fill the form and challenge you. You cannot use your own brute force or power to stop anybody. Other than that, it will also be abused. Because if care is not taken so that you can prevent them from registering, then what would it mean is that somebody can also go and sit there and use force to remove people. So if I am convinced, I will let you know. If you say I'm wrong, then I'll fill the form. The two of us will meet before the committee. Then I'll prove my case. That's the civilized way of handling that. And it is because people don't want to go that channel. That's why we have heard people going with clubs, cutlasses, guns, and the rest. But that is not the best. It's not good for a civilized country like Ghana.
In Pusiga, you sacked one of your registration officers, handed him over to the police, and now investigating some people whose registration, the Ghana card, the numbers was found to be fictitious. Is that the only case of misconduct on the part of some of your officers?
So far, that is what has come to our attention. And, Electoral Commission will not show its people who do not want to go by. Because we are expecting the political parties and Ghanaians to go by the rules of the game. Why do we also be flouting the law? So once you do that, we will hand you over to the appropriate security people to take action. But the person is not a permanent staff. It's a temporary staff who was engaged to help with the registration. So he was a registration officer. They do the interview and fill the appropriate forms.
So those who manage to get on the register using the illegal Ghana card numbers, what is going to happen?
No, the system didn't taken out. Them.
Okay.
Because the figures were 50, and that's why the one who was doing the entry, who detected that the system was refusing. They realized that the numbers were wrong. And they were asked to use the proper channel to do, so they used the guarantor system. So there, some people were saying that, why did you allow them? If those people who are in prison, you are registering them. Until a competent court of jurisdiction says that the person is not qualified, you have no right. Even those who are in prison, you are registering them. To register them. So you can register the person, but thereafter, you take the person through their processes. Other than that, you refuse to register the person. Now you take the person to court and is found not innocent. What happens? You understand my point? We want to use the law and the law.
But with this limited registration, is there another program you have with the National Identification Authority that we don't know of? The NDC?
The National Identification Authority, they will only use their Ghana card as a form of identification. Other than that, we don't have any
power relationship or arrangement with them regarding this. There have been claims of some secret registration ongoing here and there.
You see, those who are saying secret, one, they identify the secret location. Why are they not putting those places public? Because if you went to a place, as I've come here, I've seen people doing illegal registration. Why would I say secret registration? I would say, yes, I went, Joy FM was doing registration, which is illegal. Then you can focus on your investigation. But you just say that they are doing illegal registration. This mere allegation, anybody can make it. But you need to substantiate it. You need to, me personally, if I have my way, those who are told they should be invited by the police for them to prove provide evidence, because we need to clean the system. So if you're seeing something which is illegal, provide enough evidence so that we can use it to clean the system.
All right. Dr. Sebo Kweku is my guest here on the pause on Joy News. We are discussing the limited voter registration exercise. He's spoken about the challenges that they are facing and the other matters that are on hand. If you have a question, please leave it on our social media handle and I'll share with him so that you can get a response to the challenge. He's spoken about the number of cars withheld due to the challenges, over 9,000. And of course, those are the issues that, I mean, since the start of this, we've had a lot of run-in with the NDC especially. I mean, they've looked at every position you've taken with suspicion. What kind of relationship is this between you?
It's normal.
I mean, let's graduate the discussion. Let's start with the relationship that exists between you and the political parties.
I want to put on record that Electoral Commission and NDC, we are not enemies.
Right.
When we come and we meet some of them. We all attended the same schools and we are nice. But the issue about politics, it has its own dimensions or whatever. So normally, they will come and make the allegations and we come and refute them. And once we refute them, it ends the case. Because I believe some of them, maybe they don't understand how the system works. That's why they will make those allegations. But we are not enemies with them. And as you are aware, they stopped attending APAC meetings. But later they came and we are now moving. So after registration, we move on. My currently sitting here, I am foreseeing another high tension transfer of votes.
Where?
Oh, from the 20th of this month, we are starting transfer.
Okay.
And you tell him that I said it. That's another battleground. Because the political parties who want to transfer people, they will say, hey, you are passing people, you are doing this. So I'm begging them, please, they should not facilitate any movement of people. Because the moment you bash people, you create suspicion. The suspicion will lead to tension, and what we don't expect may happen.
But bashing itself is not illegal.
But why will you bash anybody? Because the people are matured and they are going to do their transfer registration. Why do you have to?
Because, for example, in Kumasi, for example, when the exercise started at the EC regional office, between the EC regional office at Edum and Menchia South, for example, is quite a distance. Somebody decided that he would rather bring the people from Menchia South to the EC regional office for them to register. And it may constitute bashing. But in other words, only helping to facilitate their movement.
You see, as I said, personally, I don't see any law that bans bashing. But once you do that, the other party will also retaliate. It raises tension. And I can assure you that all those areas that they fought or exchanged blows and violence, they were as a result of bashing. So if you do something that will create confusion, why do you want to do that? And the irony of it is that whereas Party A is doing bashing here and Party B is complaining, Party B was doing bashing and Party A was complaining. So you don't know whether to go or whether to come. Somebody said it.
They call it Oya Sure.
That is it. So we are saying that anything that you do that will raise the tension is not good. Why should we sit on tenterhooks whenever we are going to have elections? And in most cases, the election itself will pass smoothly, seamlessly. But before the election, people will start buying foodstuffs and the rest because they don't know what will happen. See, we should do what is right and allow elections to be done the way they should be, transparently and the rest. We have gone far in our elections. So let's back.
One of the claims by the NDC is that the law says that you should publish the names of your registration officers. At the start of the you did not do that.
Okay, see, I would say that it's not true that we didn't give them out. But the challenge that we have with the law is that the law says 14 days before registration. But by the 14 days, we have not finished our training.
Okay.
Because we want to train our people closer to the exercise so that they may not forget what they are supposed to do. If you give the list to them 14 days to the exercise.
Right.
Then after training, Elton couldn't come. Or Elton came and he did not perform. You change Elton. They will go to the police station. Instead of seeing Srebo there, they will go and see. Instead of seeing Elton, they will go and see Srebo.
Right.
You know that accusation that will come. We gave them wrong names. So what you did was that, yes, we will give it. So we finished with the training so that when we are sure of the authenticity of the list, then they organize APAC meetings, and DIPAC is at this level,
right,
and RAPAC at the regional level. And they give them that. So I don't think anybody will tell us that they were not given at all. But we did not go by the 14 days. That's why we agree. So that is against the law. But it was also meant that we have to change the list after training.
They've also not rested the issue of the Mason BVR case and even demand them a non-partisan probe into the Mason machines. I don't know what the easy reaction to this. Will you open yourself up for a probe that will establish where it went missing and what can be done going forward?
We know that we reported a thing to the. You see, one thing that people said, which is not true, is that it's like we only reported it when it came to Parliament.
Exactly.
Immediately it was detected, we ourselves suspected certain people. We informed the security people that these are the situations, and they are laptops. They're not the BVRs. So we suspect ABC. Then the police picked them, and they were doing the investigation. And I believe it is in the course of the investigation that it came out. Because whenever something happens which is illegal, we would prefer giving it to and allowing the national security to. Because the moment the political parties come in, then becomes conflict. Somebody says, oh, if we hear after that, some people are saying that we suspect this party. And I would say that we suspect this party. But if you allow the security people to do their professional work, the people will be handled. And
you don't support the proposal for a non-partisan probe into this?
What are we investigating? That the police is not investigating. And you are here. Once somebody steals something, what happens? You handle the case. So we believe that the police people will do that. And we know that some of them have been even arraigned before the court. So we are comfortable with the court arraignment.
Is everything well? I mean, between you, especially in the NDC, is there tension?
No,
I mean, in terms of electoral management, can we trust your independence and impartiality in all of this?
I wish that one day you come and hide somewhere so that when we are holding our park meeting, we see how we are interacting over there. But when they come out, it's different ballgame.
But why is it so?
And
because it creates tension in the system, and it creates doubts in the electorates. I mean, ahead of election, one party thinks that, I mean, the entire system might be skewed against him. And that, I don't think, is all that was for our democracy.
We have been doing elections since 1992. And Joe has been doing a lot of coverage, right? You will know whether elections are manipulated or not. I don't have to sit here to say it. But the politicians, they have their own way of doing things. And I always say that we need to investigate how come that when the parties are in power, they are seen to be in bed with the electoral commission.
Exactly.
Then when
I'm actually curious to know why.
Because
the MPP has been very silent on this limited budget, apart from few comments. But the NDC has taken you on every step you've taken.
They come here, right? They come here, the political parties. Ask them. In 2016, the NPP did almost the same thing as what the NDC is doing. 2016, you were in Ghana, right?
Right.
We finished the election, they won, nothing wrong happened. So our commitment to Ghana is that we will do what is right. Give Ghanaians the best services that we can provide so that we will give incontrovertible elections to Ghanaians. And when we finish, you can say whatever you say, but people themselves, because if you are in our polling station, you were there with the parties, voting started, the box was opened, you saw how the election was conducted, counting was done openly, the results were written on the statement of poll, which you call pin sheet, political parties signed, they were giving copies. So after that, somebody says the election is that. If you have the power to request for a recount, if you think that has not been done, that is when the polling station results are done, the media, you also pick the results.
Right.
We send the results to the constituency centers. When we are doing the collation, they are projected. So we pick, this is polling station 1. Party A had this, Party B had that, Party B had that. Then we do the summation. Everybody will see it. You also have your own way. You can also do your collation. One will say, this is the result from the constituency. Nobody will challenge it.
The thing is that there's also this comment that it's not those who vote that decide the election, those who count.
The counting is but you have been watching.
Of course.
You said it is the voters themselves who help in the counting. You will start 1, 2 to them becomes a chorus. Then they will rather be counting for you.
So the EC cannot in any way influence the outcome of any election. Is that your?
I've been saying when I say somebody was insulting me, I don't understand elections. The way I understand elections, any of the presidential candidates could become the chairperson of the commission.
And still cannot influence the outcome of elections.
If the person will win, the person will win. You can't do anything about the elections in Ghana. You can't. Because you, as a chairperson, you are in Accra. Polling station, election is being done at the polling station. When they are voting, you are not there. When the counting is being done, you are not there. At the collation center constituency, you are not there. Regional constituency, they are not there. So any party who wants to do collation would have known the results, even including you, the media. You, the media, before the electoral commission will come out and say that this is our results, you are almost 1 day ahead of us. So, and it has never happened that the media people have come with their calling of the results,
right,
and the electoral commission has come with something contrary. But at times we blame you, the media people, too. Because when they are saying it was rigged or whatever, you yourself, you saw the collation. You were part of from the police station to that. Why do you keep quiet?
Let me run through some few questions and then we can deal with a few issues so I can let you go. What happens to people in the queue when the deadline for registration ends? This is coming from Kofi. Another question, please, can someone do transfer within the same constituency? This is from Wakasu from Tolom. Good afternoon. What has happened to the missing 5 laptops? We'll get with it. From Koka. Koka says, my first question to Dr. Shobo Kweku is that doesn't the EC have CCTV cameras where the BVRs got missing? Second, can EC share the serial numbers of the missing BVRs with the public so that the public can help in the search? Or you want to dedicate himself to that purpose? And of course, Kwame from Ejusu says, please tell him we have only one Ghana, so let transparency in this year's election be key. Few questions if you want to take one after the other.
So if you can.
The first one is about if you are in the queue. I'm sure that one is clear. You will be allowed to go through. The other one,
registration of vote.
During the registration.
No, we have extended it. So the fact is that as I speak now, some of the centers they are there. People are not even.
Exactly.
Don't wait for the last minute. Then you say, go and you have joined the queue and you couldn't register. Take advantage of today. Tomorrow is Saturday. Sunday, now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't wait for the last minute.
And can someone do transfer within the same constituency? This is from Wakasu in Tolong.
We don't encourage it. We don't encourage it because of abuse. But if it's the same constituency and you have evidence, clear evidence that you have relocated, we will do it for you.
Okay. And then the other issues about the Messi BVR, that we have exhausted it quite a so after the limited, can you walk us through your plan all the way up to December 7th?
Do you want me to be
specific? Yes, of course, please, sir. Please go on. And Dr. Sebo Kweku, of course, is the Director of Elections with the Electoral Commission. Remember also that we have another big conversation coming after my discussions with Dr. Sebo Kweku, and we are dealing with the running mate for Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. 3 names, and we're running a pool on our X Spaces. You can actually drop you can vote there. Over 3,000 voters so far. The results quite surprising, and I'll share with you. I will analyze all of them on the show this afternoon as well. So we have a lot to chew as we wait Dr. Mamadou Bawumia to announce his running mate in June, just some few days away from today. Is it going to be the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh? Is it going to be the Education Minister, Dr. Yawose Aduchum? Or is it going to be the Food and Agriculture Minister, Dr. Brian Echampo? All doctors in the making, seeking to partner another doctor for election 2024. Dr. Kweku.
Yeah, so currently we are on the registration.
Limited, yeah.
Then we are planning that from the 14th of this month, we have started, to the 4th of June, the committee that I said we're sitting on the challenging work,
right,
Australia work. Then when that is done, we will have an APAC meeting and brief them about the registration. And also tell them about how the special vote in which you qualify will be done.
Okay.
Then from the 30th of this month to the 14th of June, we'll do we receive application for transfer of votes. So we receive and process them.
Okay.
So those who want to transfer their votes, they have 30th of this month to 14th, that's 16 days. And all those who also want to vote by proxy, because maybe sitting here, you have scheduled your trip outside the country, and you want somebody to vote for you, you can also apply. Then from the 30th of this month, ad infinitum, mean that there's no deadline. If you have lost your ID card, this opportunity for you to go and have your card replaced. Then I said that we are going to adjudicate on the case, the suspected challenges. That one was to be done from 3rd June to 16th June.
Right.
Then we have 5th June to 9th June to implement the decisions of the DRLC.
Okay.
The judgment they will come out, we have to implement.
And those who will be taken to court will be taken to court.
Exactly so. Then we'll be preparing for an exhibition. So we'll gazette
the voters register.
Yes.
Right.
So what we are compiled now becomes a provisional register. We add it to the old one. The old one will be 2020, 2023. Then we'll exhibit it. So everybody who registered in 2020, 2023, or 2024, you have the opportunity to do so. So we'll gazette it. Then from the 17th of June to 1st July, we'll be compiling the special voting, which the media is also part of. So take note of that.
Okay.
Too. Then we'll be doing publicity on the exhibition. Then we are expecting that from 9th to 18th of July, 9th July to 18th of July, we'll give the copies of the provisional registers to the political parties. Then Monday, 15th July to Wednesday, 24th of July, we'll exhibit the registers for people to go.
For people to check their names, if there are corrections they need to make.
Exactly true. Then we will conclude the recruitment of the return officers, but they will be doing the elections. Then we are planning that from 30th of August to 5th of September, we will give the final registers to the political parties. Then we are expecting that from 9th of July, 9th of September to 13th of September, we will be receiving nomination from the candidates.
Right.
So that is where, if you want to contest as a presidential,
you need to file your nomination.
You file your nomination. And the presidential one will be done at the national level. The parliamentary one will be done at the constituency levels.
So when they file, then it is that you go through vetting and establish their suitability for the office.
So we adjudicate on the nomination issues and that. Then we are expecting that we will ballot for the presidential positions. You know, when they finish the nomination, we'll do ballot for positions. And the balloting, we'll first ballot for who when to choose. So the first one, based on the time that you file, you pick the numbers.
Right.
So if you pick number 1, then you'll be the one to pick again to decide on
during the balloting.
On the ballot, yes. So you first do balloting to decide who will pick first.
Right.
Then we do the actual balloting to pick positions.
Sure. Will the same apply for the parliamentary candidates?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens is that for parliamentary, the presidential one will cascade to the constituencies. But where there is a candidate for a political party, assuming maybe 4 parties contested the presidential, so their candidate, parliamentary candidate, will follow that suit. But there are maybe 2 candidates for a particular constituency, for political party that did not contest the presidential. So they will have to also do the balloting for their parliamentary.
Okay.
So the parliamentary candidates who are on the presidential ballot, they will pick the flow along the
same line
sequence.
Right. I get
but there may be parliamentary candidates who are contested on party tickets.
Exactly.
But they did not contest the presidential.
Yes.
Then after the presidential, those who contest presidential have come, then this will also follow, and they have to also ballot for them. So that was to be done at the constituency level.
Okay. There's a question about whether you allow independent candidates to have representation at IPAC now that the thing is getting heated.
Now we don't have any independent candidate.
No independent aspirants.
We don't have any aspirant. We don't have any candidate. Those who are coming are political party representatives.
Okay.
It is when you are filed and you are candidate, that will be recognized.
Before you can recognize as such, right?
Yes. So half the parties, whether they contest or not, they are known.
Right.
So they are there. We are expecting that from 1st October to 31st October, we'll distribute all our ballot papers and the notice of poll to the district. So we are planning that we'll be about 1 month ahead of time.
Right.
That everything will be at the levels. Then we are expecting that those who will do the special voting, including you, media,
and the security agencies.
Exactly. That will be on the 2nd of December, 5 days ahead of the 7th. Then the 7th December, the main
election will come.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm guessing that you've also planned for a possible runoff.
It's there. We are planning. This is the detailed term.
Exactly.
Planning. We are planning that if there should be a runoff, we'll do that on the 28th of December.
Yes, as demanded by the Constitution.
Yes.
But again, question I want to find out, do you have all your budgetary allocation?
The budget allocations are given as and when, if it is approved. But they will not give you the quantum to sit in there. Now that you are doing registration, they will give you a resource for registration.
So you don't have issue with money
So far,
financial flow and all those issues?
No, I don't think I've had any challenge.
And we'll not have ROPA in 2024?
For now, it is not. Because ROPA will mean that we need to do CIs and the rest. And you know, the Commission has decided that for this year, because once you mention CI, the tension, the rest, we want to have...
Will you introduce another CI to guide the elections? Or
if you are bringing ROPA, there should be CI on ROPA.
So in terms of 2024 election, we rely on the existing CI?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Dr. Kweku, I mean, your final words as we wrap up.
What I would say to Ghanaians is that we should not be losing the stripe of the hair because of anything relating to elections. Elections is just sharing of ideas. If you are going to register, I have the right to register. If I qualify, I should allow me. If I'm not qualified, you challenge me using the legal processes. So don't use any fiscal brute force to stop anybody. That's what brings about the violence. Then don't attack anybody because of elections. So that when we frame with the election, whoever wins, all of us will celebrate Ghana once again that we've done it. And you see, if you visit the other countries with respect to election and the rest, you will appreciate Ghana's election. So when certain things happen and when you meet them, oh, why Ghana? Why did you do this? Because they've put us in a high pedestal. Sorry. So why do you do that? I remember I went to Kenya. Then I was teaching. I went with Evans Mensah. So I was taking them through how our results are counted, transmitted. Then I mentioned the country's name. My friend, they said, don't mention that country. That's why we did not bring them here.
Okay.
You understand? So the respect is very high. So let's sustain that respect. And there's no way Electoral Commission will do anything to favor a political party. So we have a mandate, and our mandate is to declare what Ghanaians have decided. And that's what will happen in 2024.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Shebo Kweku is Director of Electoral Services with the Electoral Commission. We've been looking at a lot of issues. And so that's the end of this discussion, but we have more coming your way. Oncologists at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital say they are being forced to place women living with cervical cancer on long waiting lists because there are only 2 radiotherapy machines serving the thousands of patients suffering from terminal disease. Approximately 3,000 cases of cervical cancer are diagnosed annually in Ghana. Joy Issues at the Biasare was at a forum organized by Meg Sharp and the home to promote education on the disease and reports it can take a cervical patient at least 3 months to be placed on a radiotherapy machine.
Ultimately, 3,000 cases of cervical cancer are diagnosed in Ghana each year, with 60% of affected patients dying from the disease. This high mortality rate is largely attributed to a lack of knowledge about the prevention, early detection, and insufficient human papillomavirus (HPV) vaccination coverage. Speaking at a dialogue organized by Meg Sharp and Dome MSD on cervical cancer awareness, specialist radiation oncologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Mary Ann Dadzi, lamented over the inadequate radiotherapy machines available at the facility. She said the situation is not only putting pressure on the existing machines, but is leading to the death of many women who are placed on long waiting time before they are treated.
So there are 2 government radiotherapy centers in the whole country, one in Kumasi, another in Accra. They were established in 2000 for 20 million people, and we are 34 million now. And it's still those 2 centers with 2 machines. It's terrible. Now, the waiting time to get onto the machine is about 3 months. Yes. That's a waiting time to get onto the machine. And the machine is breaking down every now and then. If you have money, you can go to the private center. But how many people can afford $3,000 or $4,000 for just the radiotherapy? So they wait. And sometimes when it's time for treatment, you call them, oh, the woman is dead. You call, is dead. We call them and they come in with metastasis all over. It's too late.
In Ghana, around 1,800 women die from cervical cancer each year. This high mortality rate is primarily due to the lack of vaccination, delayed detection, and insufficient awareness about the disease. Managing Director of MSD, Dr. Zweli Bashman, said, addressing these gaps is crucial to reducing the impact of cervical cancer on Ghanaian women.
I think it's important that as a healthcare fraternity, we focus on this. It is the #1 sort of cancer that, with the highest level of mortality on the continent. I can safely say that awareness levels are not where they need to be. And that's part of the work that we need to do. Ours is not just to work on the research, development, and manufacturing, but we need to create an ecosystem that is accepting of these healthcare interventions. So we spend a lot of our time and effort doing community social mobilization work, healthcare practitioner as well as healthcare consumer education. We work with religious bodies in terms of providing them with education. We work with cultural leaders, providing them with education and information.
Addressing the issue of vaccination, Program Manager of the Extended Program on Immunization, Dr. Kobina Amponsa Achiano, noted that intervention is underway to start a HPV vaccination by October 2025.
Fortunately, the Minister commissioned the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group to advise it, and the group advised the minister effectively. So fast forward, April this year, we put in an application to Gavi, which is undergoing screening. And so hopefully by October 2025, we should be starting Ghana's program on HPV.
By raising awareness and improving access to preventive measures and early detection, the MSD, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders, aim to significantly reduce the impact of cervical cancer in Ghana and Africa in general.
This is a pause right here on Joy News. Now, the question I have for you, do you want to know who is leading our polls to become Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's running mate? We have that answer plus analysis of the individuals who are doing the front running after the short break. Stay right there. Of course, this is your election headquarters, and we are, gearing up for December 7th and to see who is likely to lead the country for another 4 years. Now, in some 7 months, Ghanaians will be at the polls to elect a new president and 275 lawmakers for the next 4 years. As campaigning gets underway, the attention has been on the 2 main political parties and who they put forth, especially for the presidential elections. The NDC is being led by former President John Mahama, who has picked former Education Minister Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as his running mate. On the part of the MPP, this flag by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is yet to announce his running mate, but there has been intense lobbying for the position. Key amongst those seeking to partner Dr. Bawumia are, of course, the current Energy Minister, Member of Parliament for Manhyia South in the Ashanti region, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. Of course, you have the current Education Minister, Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe, also in the Ashanti region, Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum, and the current Agric Minister, Member of Parliament for Abetifi in the Eastern region, Dr. Brian Champon. So which of these 3 is better suited to match the Vice President on the ticket. And of course, there are questions about which of them can bring the needed votes to enable the MPP break the 8 as they are seeking to do, and then we'll be able to match boot for boot Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman. The discussion will assess the strengths and weaknesses of the three front runners. We've been running a poll on our social media to test the popularity of each candidate. So on Facebook, we know the results that we have. On X, about 28,000 and over almost 3,000 people have voted. There are comments that are so interesting. Right now, though, let's assess them from the point of view of an expert. Now, joining us for this conversation, of course, Dr. Eche Sikanku, political analyst and host of America Decides, and author of the book Dr. Bawumia and the Modern Vice President. So he has a fair idea of the composition and the shape a vice president should be. Before I bring him on, though, let's take a look at this.
DC is out of power because they do not have the vision for education transformation. They came up with progressively free, right? Instead of comprehensively free. They don't know how to do it. And that's why I'm telling Ghanaians that Nana Addo Dankwa's vision is going to be implemented. There will be glitches here and there. It's going to be implemented. And Free Senior High School will be alive so far as MPP is in power. And that's the reason why we have to remain in power for a long time. I mean, there are people who says it cannot be done. Former Deputy Education Minister who says it cannot be done. There's a reason why he's a former minister. Their policy was not appealing enough to our people. It was not solving the problems that the people were looking for solutions.
Convince me to trust you as a Minister of State, considering what happened at Labaoleshi.
But I told you are my friend.
It doesn't matter.
And today you don't trust me.
I'm asking a question.
Today you don't trust me.
No, I'm asking a question that can you convince me?
You should be testifying on my credibility.
No, it's not about credibility. I said convince me. We are here for the people of Ghana. Okay, so we have to ask the questions that are needed. And I'm asking the questions.
I have to. Please, your mic's off. Hey. Now I have to come in.
Energy sector, the current power cuts. Some people are saying that you made mention of this. You use this as a campaign against John Mahama, and now we are experiencing a worse situation under President Akufo-Addo. Would it reflect in the 2024 election? Would it be something that people will stand on to vote?
If you are comparing 4 years, MPP administration energy sector is 300 times better than John Mahama.
But we are still experiencing doom so.
Nobody has said we haven't. I'm just saying it's far much better than John Mahama ever did.
You do admit that there's doom so.
That is the word you used. I have never used that word. I've promised you that we are going to work on it. And it's not a work that is a single event. It's a process. And we'll continue to work on it for the energy sector to become better.
Have you heard of calls for a timetable?
Ask those who want it to bring it. This country under John Mahama. Did you? I'm asking you a question.
It was equally worse.
It cannot be equally worse.
But look, MPP use it as a tool against them.
And I'm saying that even if you are talking about that, it was worse under John Mahama than ever now.
So those are the three front runners, at least as we have been told. Now, joining me for a discussion is Professor Eche Sikanku, political analyst, host of America Decides, and author of the book Dr. Bawumia and the Modern Vice Presidency in Ghana. Prof, you're welcome. And congratulations on your new role as professor.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So as we discussed it, we'll have we've done some work on them. We'll bring it up on your screen so that you can look at them. I mean, these are the three gentlemen: Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, Member of Parliament for Manhyia South in the Ashanti region; Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Adichie, Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe, also in the Ashanti region; Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Echampo, Member of Parliament for Abetifi in the Eastern region. And these are the men that, from what we know, Dr. Matthew Prempeh, before becoming the energy minister, was actually the Minister for Education in 2017. He spearheaded the implementation of the free senior high school program. And then when the party won power again in 2020, it was moved from the Education Ministry to the Energy Ministry, and now leading Ghana's energy sector. He is from the Ashanti region, Member of Parliament for Menchia South. He celebrated his 56th birthday yesterday. So happy belated birthday, Dr. Matthew Prempeh. So this is Napo for you. Election rate 2016, he won the Menchia South by 86.1%. In 2020, came down slightly by just 2% at 84.7%, but enough to win hands down the Menchia South constituency of the Ashanti. And that is no surprise because this is a stronghold of the MPP. For the current education minister, he entered government in 2017 and was made deputy education minister. So his boss then was Dr. Matthew Prempeh. He's a member of parliament for Bosuntwi, also in the Ashanti region, from the Ashanti region, 60 years of age, and then he's likely to become MP again if he's not selected as running mate to the Dr. Bawumia. So in 2016, he won the Bosuntwi seat by 85.8%. In 2020, 84.8%. In the last parliamentary primaries, he went unopposed, just like Dr. Matthew Prempeh. And our last person on the block, of course, is the former Minister of State, Ministry of Interior. There he was. And now former Minister of State, Ministry of National Security. He's a current member of parliament for Abetifi. He won that seat during a by-election after the death of the member of parliament for that area. He's from the Eastern region, currently 51 years of age, embroiled in a controversy regarding the purchase of some hotels belonging to Senate. In 2016, he won the Abetifi seat by 74%, and in 2020 by 72%. So these are individuals, coming from strongholds of the MPP, and they are staking their claim. Let me now bring in Professor into this. Prof, you have a book on the making of a modern vice president.
Right.
So from your analysis, what kind of running mates of a vice president do we require as a country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Every political climate has different dynamics. But generally speaking, you want a vice president. You ask yourself, what do you look for when you are choosing a vice president? What are some of the qualities? What do you want to see?
Right.
The first thing is the national imperative, and that you want somebody who will be able to fill in the shoes of the president when he is away. And as much as this is a political exercise or it's a competition, at the same time there are nationalistic imperatives to it. And so you do want somebody who would be a national leader, who is ready to step into the shoes anytime the president is not around.
So the running mate of the vice president should also be presidential enough?
He should be presidential enough, right? That's correct. And as they say, he has to clear the presidential bar. You also do want somebody who is knowledgeable enough about the political landscape of the country or the political issues that are going on in the country, because he's going to help the president to govern.
Right.
And so he has to have a clear grounding in terms of what are the major problems and the major issues going on in the country in order to help the president to govern. So he has to be a partner and not a competitor to the president. A partner to the president.
But does the trait of the president or his background, does it influence who partners him?
It does to some extent, because you want balance. And so if you have a president who has his competencies in one particular area, you do want a VP whose competencies kind of complement the vice president. So there is a certain complementarity dynamic or expectation that comes into the picture when you're looking for the VP. So yes, you're right, there has to be that. You also do need somebody who is competent enough, to be able to play that role. There's also the need for the person to have some form of loyalty,
right,
to the candidate, because you don't want somebody coming to perform at variance with what you are doing.
Or to upstage you if you like.
Exactly. So you do want somebody who will be, I mean, play a good supporting role to the president.
I asked about the trace and then the background of the president as the running mate of vice complements it.
Sure.
And I mean, we live in a country where economy is always one of the key issues for our elections.
Yeah.
Maybe just a minute or two on the NDC.
Right.
John Mahama, we know he's not an economist. His background has nothing to do with economics. The running mate also has no background in economics.
Right.
John Mahama made it clear the reason why he selected Professor Jane and the responsibility that he's putting on her head in the event that the NPP is able to, and the NDC is able to win power. When the economy is so key, I mean, how do you work in such an environment where the two leaders have no shared background? How do they complement each other?
Right. Well, I mean, they've made their decision. I'm sure a lot of thought and a lot of thinking went into it. You know, at the end of the day, I believe that one of the major reasons or one of the major things that came up during the launch was also the gender dynamic.
Right.
And it is important because of the historical challenges, you know, that females have faced in politics. And so I'm sure the historical nature of it and other factors are contributed to it. And he's been president before, so I'm pretty sure he has a good idea how the economy is running. He has his plan. He probably has a team and knows how to go about it. But other imperatives are also quite important for him to make that choice.
So for the MPP and the matter on the table is Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, an economist. And when Akufo-Addo won power, Nana Akufo-Addo was clear that Bawumia will be solely responsible for the restructuring of the Ghanaian economy. And I'm sure that's what he's done from 2017 up until now. Now he's on the ticket of the MP. When you become president, the responsibilities are just too many. You cannot simply focus on one sector because this is where my competencies lie. Now, these individuals that we, from our sources, are rumored to be at the front bench. Dr. Matopoku Prempeh, Dr. Yawaduchum, and then Brandon Champon. We know Dr. Matopoku's Prempeh's background is medicine.
Correct.
And then Dr. Yawaduchum is an educationist, and of course, Dr. Brandon Champon has a lot of background in security.
Correct.
Now, let's start from Brandon Champon, who is a member of parliament for Abetifi. He became MP through a by-election, but he went on to win in 2016 and in 2020. Currently, the Minister for Food and Agriculture. Before he was a Minister of State at National Security, he became a Minister of State at the Ministry of Interior. He is from the Eastern region. If you flip the dice, it's like repeating the Akufo-Addo Bawumia ticket in 2024. How do you assess Brandon Champon in this scheme of things?
I think it's understandable why he would be a top choice. You've laid out some factors, and really the top three choices that you've selected, there's some common thread that runs through them, and they all have executive experience.
Right.
And if you're electing a vice president, you don't want somebody who has a certain level of public service or executive experience in order to know how to manage things at executive level. And Brian definitely has that. So makes sense why he will be a top person. He comes from the Eastern.
He comes from the Eastern region.
Yeah.
And the current president is from the Eastern region, who is exiting.
Yes.
That's why I said, if you flip the dice, it's like we're repeating what already exists.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, but you see, he's going to be VP, and so the complementarity. You know, there's a lot of complementarity that you want to look out for in elections. It can be regional, it can be religious, it can be competency. It can even be temperament. So those complementarities work. And so if you look at Brian, I mean, Eastern region is definitely a very big hotbed of...
Of course, and we know his influence in a lot of constituencies in the Eastern region, how he was involved in even the election of some MPs who are currently in parliament. They owe their seat in parliament to him.
Yeah. So, you know, because of that, and you don't want politicians who have... constituencies, politicians who have good political intelligence, who can reach out, who connect to the people, who can rally the base and rally people. And so you think about the Eastern region, and maybe the calculation is that once they're able to get, good numbers from there to complement the Ashanti. But you see, then the question then comes that for the first time, they're not going to have a candidate. I mean, the top two candidates, none of them is going to be from their, what do you call it? Their
stronghold.
Their stronghold, which is essentially. So I think, I mean, that it's something that may not work for him, but he definitely has the competencies.
But when you do the analysis, you look at current issues and whether by selecting this person, you will not attract criticism that you are not ready to defend. For example, what is happening right now? The minister is involved in this controversy over the sale of some hotels belonging to Snitz. And his company, Rock City, which he's a sole owner, is almost, has almost purchased the hotels. Now, there's controversy everywhere about conflict of interest and why Snitz should abrogate the entire deal and take him out because he's a minister of state. He may have gotten an undue advantage because of his role as a cabinet minister. When you are saddled with this raging controversy in the public space, would you commit this political suicide to say that, let me still settle on this man?
An experienced politician, but no doubt a developing story, definitely taking a huge amount of controversy. So naturally, no, you don't want to do that. In one of the first rules of politics or vice presidential selection is that avoid drama, like make no drama. You don't want drama, you don't want to select a VP. I remember in the US in 2008, a VP candidate was selected, and right after the selection, there were a lot of scandals around the person, and that took over a lot of the attention. So yeah, I mean, that might be one thing that could be factored in, the fact that you don't not want to select
to do that
a candidate. Yeah,
but also for the personality of the person involved. And if you have this kind of ambition, wouldn't it be right that you stay out of controversy that drag you into the public space and even question your loyalty to the republic?
Yeah, that's what we've just said. That the controversy will be a drag. Yeah.
All right. And we'll soon share with you the poll that we conducted on X and of course on social media. I mean, there you have it. Who do you think will be the best running mate for Dr. Bawumia in the 2024 election? This is on X. So as of now, 2,949 they voted. We still got some few minutes to go before the show end. You can come in with your vote. So this is how it's looking. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is at 37.7%. Dr. Yaosei Aduchum 40.4%, and of course Brianna Champon at 21.9%. As at now, 15 hours left, with 2,949 people who voted so far. I mean, is this? Can you rely on this and say that this is scientific enough to make any judgment call?
No, not really. I don't know much about the poll except that it is a poll that is on X or formerly Twitter.
Right.
Of course, definitely that cannot be seen as bona fide poll that or survey that satisfies all the requirement in terms of even sample selection. Okay, so yes, I mean, this is definitely not going to cut it for all the requirements. It's probably just something to give
an indication of it.
Yeah, that's about it. So yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about the Education Minister, Dr. Yaw Odichum. And I mean, his name has been making rounds for so long. And at some point, it was rumored that he was actually the preferred choice. He is also from the Ashanti region, Bosomtwe. He used to head a school in the United States of America. Akufo-Addo, before the 2016 election, went on a campaign to met him. He was impressed with the way he was managing a school in the U.S. and decided that he would bring him to come and help his government. He was made deputy to the then Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. He won the Bosomtwe, won it again. And now the rumor is that he's also, at the front page. How do you assess the weaknesses and strength of Dr. Yaw Odichum for this top role?
Definitely a top choice. One of the high-flying ministers in this administration, taking the education ministry. He's run with it. He's brought about a lot of innovation to the ministry, especially when it comes to STEM education, built the STEM centers. A lot of forward-thinking ideas for the ministry, lots of energy. He's been very active minister, established himself as a major minister in the administration, established himself as one of the major political figures in the country. And also internationally, he's been invited to several conferences and events, exhibited his competency when it comes to education, and definitely has some forward-thinking ideas when it comes to that sector. Vice presidency, and so no wonder that he's been considered. He also satisfies the regional.
Of course, from Bosomtwe and a very strong constituency as such.
Yes, he satisfies it. So, well, I mean, we don't know who the pick is going to be, but I think it's going to be a close shave between the top two choices. Because, yeah, they definitely do fit the bill.
So this is what we know, and this is what we've picked. So in terms of Dr. Yaw Adichum, remember, he was not involved in frontline politics before the party won power in 2017. Now, for those we have spoken to, the arguments they raise against him, and this is coming from people within the party, and I'm wondering how logic this should be, or how overriding this should be a consideration in terms of accepting him or rejecting him. That he only came to the party in 2017.
Okay.
And that he only came to the party because President Akufo-Addo invited him because of his expertise in the educational sector. And then that's how he eventually went to Bosomtwe to represent them in Parliament. For some, he's seen as foreigner in quotes, because if you want to look at those who've been with the party since 1992, you can count so many of them. He cannot be said to be one of those. Now, they make same argument even for the flag bearer of the party. That in 2008, when it was made the running mate, he didn't even have a party card, as has been said by Kwabena Japan and a number of people for so long. Yet, because of what Akufo-Addo saw in him, he brought him in. So you have a candidate who may not be seen as somebody who's been with the party from the trenches up until now. He met the party along the way and rose to become number one. Why do you bring in somebody who is also not also seen as somebody who was with us when we were struggling? So like two foreigners at the very top. And that for some will create some discomfort within the base of the party. How do you address this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting analysis. And the word foreign actually, I mean, it sounds a bit weird, especially because they're from the same party. But hey, I mean, I think I get what you mean. I get where you're coming from, but if you look at his contributions within the party and over time and the magnitude of work that has been done, I do think that he has come to establish himself. Yes, Dr. Prempeh does have a long history in Parliament, in politics, compared to him. And so maybe that might be a consideration when that choice is being made.
But then the argument against that also people raise is that nobody knew at Tamils until Rawlings brought him in, and they won election.
Correct. And so that's why I started off from saying that it's kind of a weird dynamic or term to use, because over time he's really established himself. And at the end of the day, politicians make choices for so many reasons. And sometimes you might not have the same long-running history, but there might be something inspirational about you. And he is definitely an inspiring figure when he speaks. Something inspirational about you, something appealing, some connection with a particular constituency, whether it's the youth or something that kind of overrides that. You get what I mean? So maybe it's a really, really top, two choices that any of them could definitely.
So this shouldn't be a limitation on the part of Dr. Yaw Adichum, the fact that he came in 2017.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Except, of course, they make the decision that, well, because just one person can be chosen, they might go in for one or the other. But I really don't think so, because if you look at Dr. Bawumia, he is not definitely what you would call a career politician. He had established himself in the professional world, in the banking and economics, and so before coming into politics. And that did not limit him from coming in to do what he did.
Some also say that they appear to have the same character, very calm, very reserved, and you really don't need such characters to, to work. You need one that complements in terms of, one being an extrovert, one being an introvert. I don't know whether that also play a role in politics and selection.
Yes. I mean, as to whether they do actually have the same character, well, that's the jury's out there. But yes, the temperament, the character, the demeanor, all of that plays a role because you do want that complementarity to come in. And so you want that balance. And yes, he's a gentleman, very well-mannered, and all of that. But he also gets things done, just like Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. He's also a doer. So yeah, and similarity in terms of temperament works both ways.
Of course.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be a negative. It could also work positively.
Right. So this is your election headquarters, brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity. CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness, and Beauty, also brought to you by Chalkboard Technologies, a convenient service, and of course, Youth Bridge Foundation. This is your election headquarters. Now we're going to dive into the last person on the block, and that is the Member of Parliament for Manhyia South in the Ashanti region, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the current Energy Minister, and of course, a very known political figure in the NPP. So, Doctor, Napo name has been making rounds for so long.
Yeah.
And you think that he fit the cuts?
He does feel it. He does fit it, you know. Very well-known personality within the political landscape of Ghana, so he cuts or fits the bill in terms of the popularity, in terms of the popular appeal, in terms of the name recognition. He does have it because you really don't want to start with a deficit in terms of the name recognition.
Right.
And so I think he cuts that. And that's huge, you know, because once you've crossed that line in terms of people being able to ID the person and able to, I mean, immediately connect with the person in terms of the name recognition, that's a huge one that you've checked off. So yes, he does. Of course, he comes from Ashanti.
Of course, he comes from the Ashanti region, Member of Parliament for Manhyia South, the constituency where the Manhyia Palace is located. He comes from Apegyefie, and their primary role in the palace is that they carry the king in the palanquin, Apegyefie. That is where he comes from. So when he goes home, that is his traditional duties that he has to perform. So he's very close to the kingdom. And now in politics, I mean, he's won Manhyia South on countless occasions. He's a very known figure. The issue against him is about his temperament and the comments that, I mean, he makes in the public space. Should that be a disadvantage?
Yeah, so you did talk about the pros, and it's huge. You cannot ignore that. In a year in which you have the presidential candidate not coming from the stronghold, to have a VP candidate who is a scion of the Ashanti kingdom or tradition right from the heart of Ashanti, definitely a huge factor because yes, you do want a competent person, and of course he is competent, but then you also do want the numbers as well, and you want to galvanize the base and bring about some enthusiasm within the political, your political region. And I do think he's going to do that for them. I mean, those are your judgments about his temperament. I mean, I don't know.
But will you describe that as being, I mean, he knows what it's about. And some look at confidence as arrogance. I don't know what you make of this.
I think he's a doer. I think he just gets stuff done. You know, he was the Minister of Education
at the time the implementation of the free SHS started.
Thank you.
And he was given a task to do it within 2017. And by the time the new academic year started in 2017, free SHS was in place.
Yep. And so you do need sometimes a bulwark figure, somebody of such aggression, somebody of, somebody with such stature and who is ready to move. It's kind of a huge doer, somebody who really moves and so, you know, sometimes such people do not really have time for small talk and for other things, and they just go and get things done and might rub people the wrong way. But he was definitely a very critical figure in the implementation of the biggest policy promise
of this administration.
Of the administration. And he was put in charge. It shows the confidence that the president had with him. And he did see that through when he was put in charge. It definitely speaks a lot to his capabilities.
And in the energy sector, comments that he's passed in recent times when people had issues with the unreliable power supply, and some thought that it was insulting for him to suggest people should develop their own timetable. I mean, should that be a negative on his part?
Well, you know, yeah, the energy sector is one of the biggest problems that we have. And so you don't want a VP who would be empathetic. You know, one of the things that I outline or we have talked about, or in the literature when you talk about leadership, is a certain level of empathy, which of course we've seen current Vice President Bawumia display from time to time in terms of the social interventions. And so, yeah, that might be his defense, you know, but sometime at some point you do want to connect with the people. But hey, he's the Minister of Energy and he
knows what he wants to do. But again, it brings to the question of the demeanor and the temperament between the two. The Vice President, the Bawumia, and of course Napo, who is almost everywhere.
Oh, in terms of the presidential candidate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know, this has been a very active VP. You know, if you're talking about the current VP, Dr. Bawumia. I mean, I don't think he's been laid back at all. I think he's been an advocate.
Right. He's seen humble. He's seen gentle. Napo speaks his mind. And, you know, there's been, I mean, upstaging even your boss becomes a concern. I don't know how all of this becomes a reflection as the choice is made.
I doubt that that's going to happen because we have a presidential candidate for the party who has shown unlimited amount of energy, unlimited amount of activity. I mean, he's really been a vice president who has revolutionized the position in terms of his dynamism and in terms of the firepower that he's brought. He's been quite vocal and very, very visible. I doubt that probably
will happen.
Would happen.
So, Prof, we understand that in June, in some few days, if you like, or some few weeks to come, the formal announcement will come out. If I should push you, who are you going to settle on?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball.
We are picking rumors he may go to Manchia South. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I wish I had the political crystal ball to look through it, but fortunately I don't. So I think we are very close to an announcement, so we can wait and see what happens.
And then when the announcement is made, then the ball is set rolling for December to see which team is best placed to lead the country for the next 4 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. So at that point, then we'll be able to kind of really analyze it and talk about what it means, what the focus is, because it gives you an indication of the tenor and the nature of the next administration, what the priorities are based on the team that is selected. So at that point, the election will begin shaping up. We can make some insights into really what it is that both parties are focusing on, and then we have a very good sense of the kind of leadership that we're going to have at the helm in the next 4 years.
Well, thank you very much for coming through. So the question, is it going to be Dr. Marty Opoku Prempeh? Is it going to be Dr. Yaosea Dichum? Or is it going to be the Food and Agriculture Minister, Dr. Brian Echampo? In the next few weeks, that question will be answered. But that's our show for today. That's our show for the week. The pulse here on Joy News. Hopefully on your election headquarters, as usual, is brought to you by Petrosol, Clean Fuel in Fuel Quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, and of course, Chalkbox Technology, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation. My name is Elton Brobe. Whatever you are up to this weekend, I hope it's profitable. Hopefully on Monday we'll have another exciting edition of The Pulse. Until then, take care of yourself and have a good evening and a lovely weekend.